All right, guys, today we're going to talk about Quebec's independent movement. This is what our test is going to be on Friday. So here are a few notes from that. Of course, we have a map. In red is the province of Canada of Quebec. All right, in 1763, the French and Indian War is ending. France, who previously had control of Canada, loses that war, and Great Britain wins, thus taking control of Canada. Now, in Canada, they actually have two languages. They're officially a two-language country. They speak both English and French. Therefore, you have the hello and bonjour. 20% of Canadians speak French as their first language. However, the people of Quebec, 81% of those people speak French as their first language. Now, right here you have two pictures. On the right, you see people that want Quebec to stay in Canada. On the left, you have the separatists who want Quebec to be their own country. While most Canadians want to keep Quebec as part of Canada, most Canadians who live in Quebec want the province of Quebec to be their own country. Again, just basically repeating what those two pictures before this slide showed. This was what Canada would look like minus Quebec. That shows the country of Quebec and their own proposed flag. Next up, this has been voted on twice. And both times, the vote has ended with Quebec staying a part of Canada. However, both votes have been very close. Even less than 1% saying that, you know what, Quebec is going to stay part of Canada. This is the Quebec referendum question of 1995. It says, do you agree that Quebec should become sovereign after having made a formal offer to Canada for a new economic and political partnership within the scope of the bill representing the future of Quebec and of the agreement signed on June 12, 1995. 50.6% voted no, Quebec should stay in Canada. 49.4% voted yes, Quebec should be able to leave Canada. The noes have it, Quebec stays part of Canada. Now, the government gives them some concessions. They say, you know what, Quebec, we see how much you actually want to be your own country, so we'll cut you some slack, we'll make a deal. We will change Canada's official language to two languages. It is a bilingual country now. The official languages of Canada are English and French. That means everything government, everything official, any kind of business in Canada, they will have both English and French on any kind of signs. That still didn't really make the people of Quebec that happy. They still want to be their own people. So here are some pros and cons of Quebec being their own country. Of course, they'll be able to have their own laws. They'll have their own languages and culture. And French would not necessarily be a second language anymore. However, the cons of Quebec leaving far outweigh the pros, and maybe this is why the votes have went the way they have in having Quebec stay in Canada. If Quebec leaves Canada, they'll need to depend on other countries for crops. They'll lose allies and trade partners that are connected with Canada. They'll have to make new friends on the world stage. Quebec will have to create their own passports and companies. They'll need to become a more stable and independent country. It'll take time to develop into a good country. If Quebec separates, it'll stop getting money from the Canadian government. If Quebec separates and leaves Canada, Canada will no longer be the second largest country in the world. I wonder who that would be. Interesting question. Canada will lose provinces on the east of Quebec. If Quebec leaves, the tourist money that Canada gets from people traveling to Quebec, guess what? That stays with Quebec. That doesn't go to Canada. Most of the Olympic teams in Canada, many of those individuals are from Quebec. So Canada would be kind of short when it comes to the Olympics. They need to find some more Olympic athletes. They wouldn't do as well. Canada's population, of course, would decrease because you wouldn't count the people in Quebec. And if Quebec leaves, that may start a domino effect of other people, other countries wanting to leave Quebec. All of these are the cons. So maybe we see why, even though it was a slim margin, they voted to keep Quebec in Canada. I want to know what you guys think. Should Quebec stay or leave? And then tell me why you think that. And answer these questions in our Edmodo class on the comments page. Thanks, guys.